As we take a look at issues that's coming up in domestic agriculture, commodities markets, as well as global developments that are shaping the domestic markets. But of course, today we'll be talking about the Purchasers Managers Index as just released by the by FBN Quest this morning, and Ada Konobi, who is a senior economic research analyst with financial derivatives company, joins me now. Good morning to you, Ada. It's great to have you on the show.
Good morning, Harriet.
So let's first of all, let's talk about the report from FDC. What are the key issues that have been highlighted in this report by FDC today?
Well, the first one is the OPEC deal, which everyone is talking about. It's going to take effect this week on the 3rd of January. So, I mean, from there we know the future for oil prices, and just basically what happened during the Christmas season and the anticipation for what 2017 is going to look like. So those are the burning issues now. Everyone wants to know, what is the outlook for 2017? Is there going to be a recovery? Are we going to go through this phase again? And what government policies are in place to stimulate growth?
Talking about recovery, it seems as if the manufacturing sector actually had some form of improved activity in December, judging from the Purchasing Managers Index report just released today by investment and securities trading firm, shows a rebound from 42.8 in November to 60 in December.
Well, that is mainly due to the festive season, so that is a festive rebound. Typically during this time, a lot of traders stock up in anticipation of a higher demand for the Christmas season. So there's been a lot of inventory build-up, there's been a lot of purchases because consumers typically spend during this season. So that's why we have that high rebound in PMI figures. But it won't be surprising if in subsequent months we see a decline because everything comes back to normal. But then, like the PMI reading says, any reading above 50 shows an expansion, and I think that's a substantial increase from figures below 50. That could also signal that for the 3 consecutive decline in economic growth that we've seen so far, when we begin to see a slow but painful recovery in growth for 2017. I mean, the PMI figures is an indication of economic activities in the country anyway, so if this is sustained, that is an indication that in a very long term a recovery is in sight.
Does it also mean that this, the sector actually benefited from the federal government's fiscal spending, which we saw a little bit of an increase in the last quarter of 2016?
Well, going forward, the conditional cash transfer, I mean, Buhari's stance on trying to eliminate poverty, sort of help the vulnerable. Well, he's looking to pay the vulnerable Nigerians about 5,000 naira to about 1 million Nigerians. So that is a whole lot of spending. Well,
but it's not so much.
Well, 5,000. It's not so much. I mean, it is a drop in the ocean, but that will go a very long way for people who don't even, who are not up to anything. People in very challenged conditions. So going forward, we'd see more demand. So we'd see maybe a bit more economic activities. People begin to buy more products. But then the downside is that when we see more money more money chasing a particular product, and that may lead to higher prices of goods. So it's something that we're still trying to understand.
And talk to us a little bit more about this, import duties. I remember we started having conversations with regards to the duties on some commodities like rice. Of them, we now begin to buy products and their items from domestic producers rather than importing it, even though we see that the central bank has continued to still do special FX intervention for the sector.
Well, trying to achieve self-sufficiency in Nigeria is a very long-term project. Although there's been a lot of policies in place, this is, I mean, we wouldn't see the effect now. We're about 180 million Nigerians, so I wouldn't expect most manufacturers to source about 90 or 80% of their raw materials, and we still sort of import from the foreign, from overseas. But then we still have forex wars, and we don't see any adjustments in the currency. The parallel market is trading about 490 as it is, and the interbank market is still flat at 305. So that is still a major constraint. Although we have more increase in tariffs, I mean, that is still, there's still a lot of policy adjustments and trying to know, okay, which is better, how can we, tackle the high prices of goods. So these are, there are a couple policies that the government is putting in place to help the manufacturing sector and kind of put a taper down on high prices that we have so far and not rely so much on the international market.
So do you think that the Made in Nigeria challenge issued by the Senate President will actually go a long way as well in getting most of domestic producers in a competitive stead
I think it's a fantastic idea. You have a lot of young Nigerians coming up with very innovative ideas, and there's been a lot of startups, especially in the fashion industry, in the tech world, in agribusinesses. So it is good because we're trying to stimulate the economy from within. So if that comes up, it is a slow process, but probably in 2-3 years time we begin to see that I think the issue is that we want to see it results immediately, but it is a long-term process. So it is it's sending a positive signal to the young, to the youths as well, to go to the drawing board, do not move around not doing anything, try and think of ideas, and the government is ready to help you come up with very innovative ideas and support you as well.
Yes, I'm sure that you've got a couple of ideas up your sleeve that you might be bringing into this Made in Nigeria challenge.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are working. 2017, I know a lot of young people are coming up with very, very good ideas, so it's great.
All right, thank you so much, Ada, for coming on the program this morning, and of course sharing your perspectives with us. We're still talking about